What's going on, you guys? So, big fight this weekend. I know it's not getting the notoriety it probably should, but regardless, I think it's a big fight in terms of boxing for the sport, and that's Erickson Lubin taking on Vergil Ortiz, right? And I've kind of have went back and forth on this fight, just for the simple fact that I think Erickson Lubin, is very underrated, and I understand he's had his opportunities against some more so notable guys in the 154-pound division. He was very young when he took on Jermell Charlo. He's 22 years old. Unfortunately, he got stopped in the first round. And then sometime later, he took on now champion Sebastian Fundora, right? He's came up short in both of those fights. In fact, he's got stopped in both of those fights. But since then, we've seen him kind of try to resurge his career. He's fought guys like Jesus Ramos, Rosario, Luis Arias, I believe is his name. I can't remember. I know who the dude is he fought. I know he was a contender. He fought Danny Jacobs. I think I'm just butchering his name. Maybe I'm not. But nonetheless, man, is he going to be ready for Vergil Ortiz, right? I see cases where, hey, man, maybe Erickson Lubin, spoils the plans of a potential Vergil Ortiz John Butsenis fight, just with his boxing ability. Because let's not get it twisted. Erickson Lubin is a very talented fighter. He's got punching power. I mean, I do like his punch selection. And he's quick. I mean, he's got all the things that you would need at the top level to compete at the highest, highest of them all in the division, right? And that's where we've seen him. We just seen him come up short. But if I had to pick right now, man, I think I'm gonna have to pick Vergil Ortiz. And I like Erickson Lubin a lot, but just watching some of the fights that he's won, a lot of people go back and forth with the Jesus Ramos. A lot of people thought Jesus Ramos actually won that fight, but there was many things I saw in that fight. It was just the constant pressure of Jesus Ramos. He was the more, I guess you could say, active fighter, or more busier fighter, in a lot of people's eyes. Erickson Lubin in that fight laid up on the ropes a lot, and he's done this in multiple other fights with guys like Fundora. It was just, to me, the biggest thing that affects an Erickson Lubin is just the IQ. I think he has all the ability in the world. It's just his IQ. Like I just mentioned, laying on the ropes and letting guys like Fundora and Jesus Ramos, get off on you is not going to win you a fight against a guy like Vergil Ortiz, right? Vergil Ortiz is busy when he gets in the ring. He throws a lot of punches. He's constantly coming forward nonstop. He's a tough, rugged fighter. And I just see that maybe he doesn't get Erickson Lubin out of there. I mean, there is a chance he does, but I just think that he'll outwork Erickson Lubin. Now, I could be completely mistaken. Let's say Erickson Lubin catches him, because Vergil Ortiz has gotten dropped, and a lot of people thought, hey, he lost to Sergey Bohachuk, right? Now, in my opinion, I would probably rate Sergey Bohachuk and Erickson Lubin on the same level, but a lot of people are ruling out Erickson Lubin, man, and I would actually be pulling for Erickson Lubin to win this fight. I've always been a fan of Erickson Lubin, I can't lie. And it's not to say that I dislike Vergil Ortiz. I like them both, but I remember watching that Erickson Lubin Jermell Charlo fight, and man, that sucked to see, because I was really pulling for Erickson Lubin in that fight, and to see him get knocked out in the first round, it sucked, man, as a fan of the guy. It was one of those type of moments. I wouldn't say it was like I was heartbroken or anything like that, but I can understand why certain fans, when they have a emotional connection with the fighter and their guy gets knocked out or something like that, they lose, or they just lose it. They start crying or whatever. I remember years and years ago, one of my youngest brothers, he was a big time Chuck Liddell fan, right? And he had to have been like 7 or 8 at the time. And my dad had showed him a video of Chuck Liddell getting knocked out by Rashad Evans, and he literally started crying. Like, it hurt him deeply because that was his favorite fighter. Now, I wouldn't say something like that happened similar, you know, to me and Erickson Lubin when he got knocked out, but I definitely felt bummed out for him because I just imagine how embarrassing it probably could be and devastating it could be if you fought your whole entire life and you get the opportunity to get in the ring with the guy and you get knocked out in the first round. Man, that sucks. But I'll be pulling for Erickson Lubin in this fight. I'm just not 100% certain that he'll get the job done. And not to mention too, like, aside from skill set and, you know, fighting style and what breaks the fight down and who I would pick, let's not get it twisted. Boxing is a corrupt sport at times, and Boots and Vergil Ortiz has already been talked about for years, but now there's a real possibility we're going to be getting this fight, and they're saying it's next. So there is still a chance that Erickson Lubin, you know, realistically wins the fight, but not in the judge's eyes, right? If you understand what I'm saying. But all in all, man, I do think it's a winnable fight for Erickson Lubin. As long as he were to stay off the ropes and not let Vergil Ortiz outwork him and just box him. He's got boxing ability. It's just at times, like I said, he just will sit on the ropes and let his opponent outwork him. And that's really been the biggest flaw in my eyes when I seen him fight against some of the top guys other than a Charlo, right? I mean, the Fundora fight, he majority of the time was exchanging with him on the inside, which really you shouldn't do, surprisingly, with a Fundora who happens to be like 6'6". Usually a guy like that, you do want to go on the inside, but Fundora is actually a really good inside fighter. So, I mean, that wasn't the right game plan, or sitting on the ropes. Two things that you probably shouldn't have done with Fundora. But I just think it's the IQ at the end of the day that separates Erickson Lubin from the elite fighters in the division. But who knows, man? I could be completely wrong. I kind of am hoping I'm wrong. I would like to see Erickson Lubin win this fight and just win a title. And that could be a later discussion, you know, years down the line. If he never wins a title, is he one of the best fighters to never win a title? You know, Erickson Lubin at one point did have a lot of promise and was supposed to be the next up, you know, but we haven't seen that quite yet. But all in all, man, I do think Vergil Ortiz will probably pull this off. I just think the work rate of a Vergil Ortiz, the come forward pressure of Vergil Ortiz, and, you know, he takes advantage of anything like that Erickson Lubin would do. A guy on the ropes, you know, not throwing and just sitting there, he will take advantage of that and outwork his opponent. So all in all, man, I got Erickson Lubin. Not doing enough. I got Vergil Ortiz winning the fight, but I could be surprised if I'm not going to be super surprised if Erickson Lubin wins this fight, because I do think it's a winnable fight. But those are my thoughts, man. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have this weekend? You got Vergil Ortiz or do you got Erickson Lubin? Let me know. Hate, like, comment, subscribe.